What up? Welcome back. I am Chris Lesbo. We are almost done with these course guides for Disc Golf Valley. On to the Crow's Nest, one of the two that people actually want to see. Hopefully I can give you some insight here. I'll show you how I play it, and then a pretty reasonable way to get that 9 under to get the 3-star. So hole in here. I usually sidearm a fairway. I went musket here, tried to keep it low enough, but this ground I guess got super slippery, and that just goes and goes and goes. So going forward, down to a river for sure. No sense flirting with the back of that if the river is going to end up shorter. So happy to get it, but scary little slide there. Hole 2, one of the only holes I ace run if I'm in a bad mood. Sidearm fairway, backhand river, they both work. But this windbreak accurate fuse is just absolutely the right disc. Goes the right distance, it stays straight. It's an easy 2 every single time. Hole 3, one of the most needed eagles in the game, I think, to stay competitive. It's a little backhand hyzer. I think you can make it with a glide musket. I like this wind glide recoil because no matter what the wind, it'll get there. Plenty of ballistas work as well, but you got to start trusting that line, find what works for you and how you can pick up that 2, because that's a must get. Hole 4, if you have this helping wind, you can go like glide ballista. I got a little cheeky there, but it's a light disc, so the wind is just going to keep throwing it to the left, and that's fine. And if you get this far up here, you get this little half look at it for 2. I kind of liked this when I let go. It looks good, and it just plops, which is fine. Half run, whatever. Up here in the circle for the birdie. You don't need to go that far around the corner on your tee shot. Anywhere back by that tree or rock even, you can get up and down. This, in my opinion, is probably the hardest hole to birdie in the game. I found this musket line kind of recently that's been working pretty well, but it is so touchy and so easy to miss either way. And even coming in this well, if this misses that rock, that's going to roll way out there. So it's a tough hole. For the 3-star in the second half, I'll show you kind of how I cover for it, because that's definitely not a birdie I get every time. This hole I really like the play I've got. Kind of how that musket on the last hole started hyzering backwards. I take advantage of that here. So I go musket really high on a hyzer. Instead of working left into that left wall, it actually kind of makes a U-turn and starts working back and digs into this corner here. And no matter the wind, I get this every time with that musket shot. Just make sure you don't miss the mandatory trying to go too much too soon. But very, very effective play for me. Kind of another must eagle in my opinion. I do this little sidearm recoil. As long as I don't hit that tree, it's almost always fine. Sometimes it sits up on those rocks. Sometimes it hits the other rocks and checks. Sometimes you get unlucky and it hits a tree and goes in the water. But anything up in this field, you can throw in. That was barely enough, but it's in. Again, that 15 to 20 meter throw-in confidence thing is just huge for scoring. Hole 8, little hyzer into the cave. As long as you make the mouth of the cave with something moving, you'll get down here to a putt. This one happened to slide forever and then roll forever. They don't always end up back here, but they don't need to. Halfway in the cave, you can start throwing them in. I like the birdie, though. I like the recoil again just because I know it's going to hyzer and I know it has the speed to get back in that cave. Hole 9, definitely a birdie hole. Sometimes an eagle hole. I pitch the musket over to this left landing zone. Sometimes it gets squirrely and does dumb stuff. I'm sorry if that happens. It's a bummer. But if I get towards the end of this landing zone, I can throw the fuse at it. I'm trying to throw this in. I flipped it a little bit too much, but always give it a run, because even if I miss long, right, this backstop is here to help catch me again. If I don't quite make it that far down the landing zone, I'll throw the river on the same line. But again, I always try to run that basket for 2 because it's a pretty safe backstop for it. So happy with the birdie. Would have been cool to throw it in, but that's okay. 11 under, got the 2 eagles I need. So we'll play a little bit safer plays here to get that 9 under. Like I said, definitely go down to the river here. Should land short and slide up to it instead of land at it and slide towards the cliff. And ta-da, just like that. River saves the day. Hole 2 again, regardless of the wind, 3 headwind, 3 tailwind, I throw the accurate fuse straight at it. And it just does all the work for me. Such a good disc. If you haven't seen a windbreak accurate fuse yet, I'm sorry. Start watching. They're so fun. But good birdie. And then my opinion for the easiest way to get 9 down on this course is to eagle this hole. This eagle is far easier for me than that. Ooh, that was close. Far easier than the birdie on hole 5. I think it's 5. So again, get comfortable with this hole. If you miss this eagle and you're trying to get that 3-star, I would just restart the round. It's only the 3rd hole, and the first 2 are pretty easy to play. So you're not really shooting yourself in the foot too much, but picking up this eagle allows us a little breathing room for that potential par on 5 to stay on 9 down pace. So now I have a hurting wind on this hole. Gonna go musket. And again, there's that tree and that rock I mentioned. Anything near here is far enough up to get around this corner to the green. This is kind of like comfortable fuse range, but I got to put some hyzer on it and let that wind help push it back. And it lands soft, and that's great. But again, if you make it only to that tree, you can go fairway up around if you need to. It's pretty much from anywhere in bounds, you can get up here in 2. So get comfortable with that birdie as well. And now this stupid hole 5. We picked up that eagle on 3, so I barely changed my line on this from how I threw it on the first round. And look how differently this goes. Way hotter, way lefter, gets up and runs away. But we're kind of playing for that, so picking up that eagle early allows this to happen and still get through our 3-star run. So now I'm just going to pitch a putter over there. A little bit aggressive, but it's fine, because I just need that 3. So after this, we should be 5 down through 5 with an eagle and a par. And that eagle is, again, way easier than this birdie. So get used to that one. A par is there. Par on hole 5 is okay. It's not bad. It's not great. It's okay. Another musket straight up. Another U-turn. Cool little bounce. A little tumble. Whatever. In the corner. Like I said, I've had really good luck with that shot. So if you give it a shot, hopefully it's as good for you. At least until they change the physics and discs stop U-turning. It's good until then, for sure. I tried this hole a few different ways. I haven't laid up in a long time, but I tried going to the right, I tried going up here, and every shot I threw up here, even if it hit the trees and stuck on top of that hill, I could pitch a putter down this way and leave myself a circle 1 putt. This one happened to skip a couple times and get off the back, but then rolled up the hill, and this is kind of a scary putt. So if you're not comfortable with 26-meter downhill headwind putts, I use putt feature. I aim way into the ground, and I'm going to putt into the ground in front of me so it slides up there, because there's a lot of ground play, and that's a way easier way to lay up that 26-meter than to try and throw it gently. But that's the birdie. That's my favorite safe way to play it. Going to the right, that upshot can get so touchy, and I just had way better luck going through those trees. Again, this will recoil into the mouth, a little bit right, kiss the wall, but again, having that momentum, it's going to carry down there into a putting range. So as long as you make the cave, you're in good shape here. And we're on 8 through 8, which is good. That's the pace we need. Again, the eagle in the par. And then back to this hole, musket to the left landing zone. A little bit of a helper wind. So it could go far, but it's not. It's going to catch funky. Yep, and just check up. So since I'm not as close to the end where I threw fuse in the first round, back here I'm going to throw my river. Same idea, same little hyzer flip straight shot, because you got to run it with that safe backstop, and this one happened to drop. So I'm kind of glad it went in on the safe round, just to show you that it's not a shot I'm afraid of throwing, because if you miss, you're right there and you can tap in that birdie anyway for 9 down. So bonus eagle on the safe round, fine round on the normal round. Hopefully some lines in here were useful. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe, and until the next one, cheers.